Royal families are often seen as symbols of elegance, tradition, and unity. We see crowns, ceremonies, grand palaces, and historic rituals. We see state banquets, royal weddings, balcony appearances, and formal speeches. Everything looks controlled. Everything looks dignified. Everything looks perfect. But history tells a deeper story. Behind the palace walls, royal families have experienced betrayal, rivalry, ambition, secrecy, and power struggles. For centuries, monarchies survived not only because of tradition, but because of strategy. Some secrets were buried to protect the throne. Some scandals were hidden to preserve stability. Some conflicts changed the course of history forever. Today, we are not looking at fairy tales. We are looking at the real history behind royal power. Because royal history is not just about crowns. It is about survival. It is about loyalty. It is about ambition. And sometimes, it is about secrets that were never meant to be known. Let us begin. Power and blood. The struggle for the throne. Throughout history, the greatest threat to a king was not always a foreign enemy. Sometimes, the greatest threat came from inside the palace. Royal succession, the process of deciding who becomes king or queen, has often created tension. When a monarch died without clear succession, uncertainty followed, and uncertainty created opportunity. In medieval England, succession disputes led to violent conflict. One of the most famous examples is the conflict known as the Wars of the Roses. This was not a simple political disagreement. It was a brutal civil war between two royal houses, the House of Lancaster and the House of York. Both families believed they had the rightful claim to the English throne. The war lasted for decades. Battles were fought, kings were removed, new kings were crowned. Family members fought against family members. Loyalty shifted constantly. Trust was fragile. This was not just politics, this was survival. When Richard III took the throne, controversy followed him. His young nephews, known today as the Princes in the Tower, disappeared. Their fate remains one of the greatest mysteries in British royal history. Were they protected? Were they removed? Were they victims of ambition? Historians still debate. But one truth remains clear. Royal power was never secure. The French monarchy and the cost of disconnect. If England experienced royal rivalry, France experienced something even more dramatic. The French monarchy ruled with absolute authority for centuries. The king was seen as chosen by divine right. The court at Versailles represented luxury beyond imagination. But behind the beauty of the palace, public anger was growing. Under Louis XVI, France faced financial crisis. War debts were high. Taxes burdened ordinary citizens. Food shortages created unrest. Meanwhile, the royal court continued its extravagant lifestyle. The Queen, Marie Antoinette, became a symbol of royal excess in the eyes of the public. Whether fairly or unfairly, she was blamed for many of the kingdom's problems. Rumors spread quickly. Stories about luxury, spending, and disconnection fueled public anger. The result? The French Revolution. The monarchy collapsed. The king was executed. The queen was executed. The royal system that had lasted centuries ended dramatically. The lesson was clear. When royal families lose connection with the public, consequences can be severe. The Russian royal tragedy. If France showed the fall of monarchy, Russia showed something even darker. The Russian royal family, known as the Romanovs, ruled a vast empire. Under Nicholas II, Russia faced war, poverty, and political instability. The royal court was increasingly isolated. Public dissatisfaction grew. World War I weakened the country further. Economic crisis created tension. Eventually, revolution broke out. The monarchy was overthrown, and in 1918, the Romanov family was executed. For years, rumors spread that one daughter might have survived. Stories captured global attention. But investigations later confirmed the tragic outcome. The fall of the Romanovs became one of the most dramatic endings in royal history. It showed how quickly royal power could disappear. Modern royal scandals. Royal secrets are not limited to ancient history. Modern monarchies have also faced challenges. The British royal family, one of the most visible in the world, has faced public controversies in recent decades. Public attention increased dramatically in the 20th century. Television brought royal life into living rooms. Media coverage intensified. Every event became global news. One historic crisis occurred in 1936, when Edward VIII chose love over the throne. His decision to abdicate shocked the nation. For the first time in modern British history, a king voluntarily stepped down. His choice changed the royal line forever. It led to the reign of George VI and eventually to Elizabeth II. This moment showed how personal decisions could reshape royal history. The price of modern monarchy. In modern times, royal families face a different challenge. Not war, not revolution, but constant exposure. Social media spreads news instantly. Public opinion shifts quickly. Transparency is demanded. Privacy becomes difficult. Royal families must balance tradition with modern expectations. They must protect the institution while adapting to change. Every generation faces new challenges. Every monarch must decide how much to reveal and how much to protect. Because some secrets are not about scandal, some secrets are about stability. And sometimes, silence is part of survival. Royal traditions are not created in a single moment. They are built slowly. One generation adds something, the next generation protects it, another generation adjusts it. Over time, these traditions become part of national identity. For many people in the United Kingdom, the monarchy represents stability. It represents continuity. It represents history that stretches back centuries. But continuity does not mean everything stays exactly the same. In fact, the monarchy has survived because it adapts. When the world changes, the institution studies those changes carefully. It moves slowly. It moves carefully. But it does move. That balance between tradition and modernization is one of the most important themes in the Sussex story. When Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stepped back from senior royal duties, it was not just a personal decision. It became a constitutional discussion, a media storm, a global debate. People began asking serious questions. What is the role of a modern royal? Can a royal choose privacy in the digital age? Should members of the monarchy have more independence? Or does independence weaken the institution? These questions are not simple. They do not have easy answers. Royal life is structured around duty. From childhood, senior royals are trained to understand their responsibilities. Public service, charitable work, ceremonial duties, national representation. Every handshake, every speech, every appearance. It all carries meaning. It all carries symbolism. And symbolism is powerful. That is why even small changes can create big headlines. When a royal couple relocates to another country, it is not viewed as a normal family move. It becomes an international story. When they sign media deals, it becomes global discussion. When they give interviews, it becomes historical record. In the modern era, the monarchy must exist within a media environment that is faster and louder than ever before. Social media spreads stories within seconds. Clips go viral instantly. Opinions are shared worldwide. This creates pressure unlike anything previous generations experienced. In the past, royal stories traveled through newspapers and radio. Today, they travel through smartphones, through platforms, through millions of individual voices. The Sussex chapter unfolded in this digital landscape, and that made everything bigger, more intense, more emotional. Supporters argued that the couple deserved space. They deserved safety. They deserved the freedom to build their own path. Critics argued that royal duty is not optional, that public roles come with lifelong commitment, that stepping back changes the structure of the monarchy itself. Between those two sides exists a complicated reality. Royal families are institutions, but they are also families. Behind titles are parents, siblings, spouses, and children. Disagreements can happen. Differences in personality can appear. generational shifts can create tension. And when those personal matters happen inside a monarchy, they do not remain private. They become headlines. History shows that royal families have faced similar moments before. Different century, different personalities, but similar themes. Change, conflict, adjustment, adaptation. The difference today is visibility. Nothing remains hidden for long. Public interest in royal life remains extremely high. People are fascinated by palaces, ceremonies, traditions, jewels. But they are equally fascinated by human emotion, family bonds, struggles, difficult conversations. This human element is what keeps the Sussex story relevant. It is not only about policy or protocol. It is about identity, about belonging, about responsibility, about freedom. One important aspect is public perception. Perception shapes reality in royal life. If the public trusts the institution, it remains strong. If the public questions it, discussions begin. That is why communication is carefully managed. Statements are measured, announcements are formal, language is precise, because every word matters. Throughout the Sussex journey, official statements were analysed word by word. Phrases were interpreted, silences were interpreted, body language was interpreted. Experts debated tone, commentators debated meaning, and millions watched closely. The monarchy is often described as the firm, a structured organisation, with advisors, with protocols, with traditions built over centuries. Any departure from that structure creates a tension. But a tension does not automatically mean collapse. Historically, the monarchy has survived wars, political change, economic crisis, social revolution. It has evolved many times. So the larger question becomes this: how does the monarchy evolve in the 21st century? Younger generations view institutions differently. They value transparency. They value mental health awareness. They value authenticity. They expect access. At the same time, the monarchy relies on mystique, on ceremony, on distance, on symbolism. Balancing those two expectations is not easy. The Sussex story highlighted this tension clearly. Modern communication meets ancient tradition. Personal narrative meets institutional structure. And the world watches. Another important element is global perspective. The British monarchy is not only followed in the United Kingdom, it is followed across the Commonwealth, in North America, in Australia, in parts of Africa and the Caribbean, in Europe. The decision of one royal couple can create international reactions. Different countries respond differently. Some focus on independence, others focus on tradition. Media cultures vary, public attitudes vary, but interest remains strong. Over time, emotions calm, headlines shift, new events take attention, but the long-term impact remains. The Sussex chapter may eventually be viewed as part of a larger transformation period, a moment when the monarchy adjusted to modern realities, when expectations were renegotiated, when public conversation expanded. Royal historians often look at events decades later with greater clarity. What feels dramatic in the moment sometimes becomes understandable with time. Perspective changes, context becomes clearer, personal stories become historical chapters. That is how history works. Today's debate becomes tomorrow's textbook and tomorrow's documentary. The monarchy continues, ceremonies continue, state visits continue, charities continue, public service continues, life inside palaces continues. At the same time, the Sussex family continues building their own path. New projects, new ventures, new chapters. Both stories move forward separately, yet they remain connected through history, through lineage, through public memory. This dual narrative is part of modern royal reality. Public life and private ambition existing at the same time. Tradition and independence existing at the same time. Criticism and support existing at the same time. The monarchy's survival has always depended on resilience. Resilience requires patience, It requires strategic thinking. It requires calm responses during intense moments. Observers often focus on conflict, but long-term stability usually depends on quiet consistency. Appearances, engagements, national events. Over time, steady presence can restore balance. For many citizens, the monarchy is not about drama. It is about continuity, about annual traditions, about moments of unity during national celebrations, about shared symbols. And symbols are powerful. They connect generations. Grandparents remember one era, parents remember another. Children grow up seeing new faces. But the crown remains. This continuity is what gives the monarchy its strength. The Sussex story does not erase that strength. It becomes part of the story, part of the evolution. Every institution faces turning points. The strongest institutions learn from them. They adjust carefully. They maintain core identity, but allow measured change. That may be the true lesson here. Royal life is not frozen in time. It moves slowly, but it moves. As new generations step into roles, new ideas naturally enter the conversation. Public expectations will continue to evolve. Media will continue to change. Technology will continue to accelerate. The monarchy must navigate all of it. And it has shown, historically, that it can. The Sussex chapter reminds us that royal life is complex. It is ceremonial. It is symbolic. But it is also human. Behind every headline is a family conversation. Behind every statement is careful thought. Behind every public appearance is preparation. Royal life is responsibility. It is tradition. It is scrutiny. It is expectation. And sometimes, it is disagreement. But disagreement does not automatically mean collapse. It can mean transition. It can mean growth. It can mean redefining boundaries. In the end, the story continues. New events will come. New headlines will appear. New chapters will be written. The monarchy remains one of the most studied and discussed institutions in the world. Its future will depend on its ability to balance heritage with relevance. And that balance is ongoing. It never truly ends. The Sussex chapter is not the end of royal history. It is one chapter within a very long book. A book that stretches back centuries and will likely continue for many more. Which part of this evolving royal story stands out to you the most? Tell us in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into royal history and modern transformation, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Royal Chronicle. More royal stories, more royal history, more royal insights are coming soon. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.